The buzz around the New York Yankees system continues to grow, and a big reason for that excitement is the emergence of young arms that are starting to turn heads across the organization. One of the names that has everyone talking right now is Carlos, a pitcher who is beginning to look like something truly special. Nothing in baseball is ever perfect, and anyone who understands the game knows that perfection simply does not exist over the long run. Even the greatest pitchers in history had nights where things did not go according to plan. But what Carlos has been showing recently is about as close to dominance as you can realistically expect from a young arm still developing his craft. His latest outing was another example of why the Yankees are so excited about his future. He worked 4 scoreless innings, attacking hitters with confidence and showing the type of velocity that instantly grabs attention. His fastball reached an incredible 103.1 miles per hour, a number that immediately jumps off the page when you see it. Throughout the night, he threw 19 fastballs, and the average velocity on that pitch was a staggering 101.5 miles per hour. That level of consistency with such elite velocity is extremely rare, even at the highest level of professional baseball. What made the outing even more impressive was how efficiently he worked through the lineup. Over those 4 innings, he needed only 42 pitches to complete his work, which is remarkable for a young power pitcher who is still learning how to control his arsenal. Efficiency like that shows maturity on the mound and a willingness to challenge hitters rather than nibble around the strike zone. For years, the biggest question surrounding Carlos was always about command. In the minor leagues, he occasionally struggled to locate his pitches the way the organization wanted, and that has been the one area scouts consistently pointed to as the key to unlocking his full potential. The raw talent has never been in doubt. When you throw a fastball that regularly sits above 100 miles per hour, people are naturally going to pay attention. But what separates a flamethrower from a truly dominant starting pitcher is the ability to command those pitches and put them exactly where they need to be. If Carlos continues progressing in that department, the Yankees may be looking at a pitcher who can anchor their rotation for years to come. That is why many inside the organization are not rushing to label him as a future bullpen arm. While some observers have floated that idea, the Yankees appear to be thinking much bigger when it comes to his role. When you have a pitcher with this kind of electric arsenal, the priority is to develop him as a starter for as long as possible. A dominant starting pitcher can change the entire identity of a team, and the Yankees believe Carlos has the ceiling to become exactly that type of player. His numbers this spring are already backing up the hype that has been building around him. He currently holds an earned run average under 1, sitting at 0.93, while opposing hitters are managing a batting average barely above 100. His whip sits at 0.72, another indicator of just how difficult it has been for hitters to reach base against him. Those are the kinds of statistics that quickly move a prospect up the rankings across baseball. Many expect that when the next update to the top 100 prospect list arrives, Carlos will climb significantly higher than where he currently stands. But he's not the only pitcher creating excitement within the Yankee system. Cam Schlittler is another name that has been generating serious buzz, especially after his most recent performance on the mound. Schlittler has already shown that he can compete at a high level, and the organization clearly believes in his potential moving forward. In fact, there is growing belief that he could enter the 2026 season as the number 2 starting pitcher in the Yankees rotation. That is a massive vote of confidence for a young arm, but his performances have justified that optimism. In his latest appearance, he looked completely in control, retiring 12 of the 14 hitters he faced and demonstrating the kind of command that makes opposing lineups uncomfortable. What stood out most was the variety he showed with his cutter, throwing 2 different versions of the pitch to keep hitters off balance. Mixing speeds and movement like that is a sign of a pitcher who understands how to attack hitters rather than simply overpower them. Velocity has also been a major part of Schlittler's success. Out of the 46 pitches he threw in that outing, 28 were clocked above 95 miles per hour. That level of power from a starting pitcher allows him to challenge hitters in the strike zone without fear. When a pitcher can consistently throw that hard while also mixing in secondary pitches effectively, it becomes extremely difficult for opposing hitters to time anything. Schlittler already showed last season that he can perform when the pressure rises. During the previous year, he made 16 starts and finished with an earned run average just above 2.9, numbers that immediately placed him among the most reliable arms available when the Yankees needed help. Even more impressive was the way he handled meaningful games late in the year. When the team needed quality innings during the postseason push, Schlittler stepped onto the mound and delivered strong performances that helped stabilize the rotation. The only concern earlier this spring involved a minor back issue that briefly kept him off the mound. Anytime a pitcher deals with any physical discomfort, it naturally raises questions, but those worries appear to have disappeared quickly. Since returning, he has looked completely healthy, throwing with confidence and showing no signs that the issue is still lingering. Interestingly, he has not relied much on his changeup so far this spring, choosing instead to focus on his fastball and cutter combination. That approach has worked extremely well in the early going, but it is likely that he will eventually reintroduce the changeup as the season progresses. Having that additional weapon will make him even more dangerous, especially against lineups filled with strong hitters from both sides of the plate. When you step back and look at the bigger picture, it becomes clear why Yankees fans are feeling optimistic about the future of the pitching staff. Imagining a rotation built around arms like Carlos and Schlittler for the next 5 or 6 seasons is enough to get anyone excited. Developing young pitching has always been one of the most valuable assets an organization can possess, and right now the Yankees appear to have several promising options moving through their system. Beyond those two, there are other pitchers waiting for their opportunity as well, giving the team a level of depth that could become extremely important as the long baseball season unfolds. While the young pitchers have been generating plenty of excitement, the Yankees are also seeing encouraging signs from some of their most intriguing position players during spring action. Jason Dominguez continues to be one of the most talked about names whenever he steps onto the field, and once again he reminded everyone why so many people around baseball believe his future is incredibly bright. In one of the recent games, he launched another home run, adding to what has already been a very productive spring for the young outfielder. One of those long balls came against a veteran pitcher who has built a reputation over many seasons for challenging hitters and rarely giving up easy swings. Dominguez did not look intimidated in the slightest. He stepped in with confidence, got a pitch he could drive, and sent it out of the park with authority. Moments like that tend to energize both teammates and fans, especially when they come from a player who is still developing but already showing flashes of serious power. There are always people who try to downplay strong performances during spring games, arguing that the results do not carry the same weight as the regular season. That perspective certainly exists, but there is also another way to look at it. When young players consistently perform well, even in exhibition games, it can reveal important signs about their development and confidence. Dominguez has been doing exactly that. His numbers this spring have been impressive, hitting .333 with 3 home runs and 9 runs batted in. Even more striking is his on-base plus slugging percentage climbing above 1,000, a figure that immediately signals how dangerous he has been whenever he steps to the plate. For a young hitter still trying to establish himself, putting together a stretch like that is something that naturally builds excitement throughout the organization. Despite those numbers, the Yankees still appear committed to a development plan that prioritizes everyday opportunities in the minor leagues before bringing Dominguez back to the major league roster for good. The reasoning behind that decision is simple. At this stage of his career, consistent at-bats are more valuable than occasional appearances off the bench. By playing every day, he can continue refining his approach, facing a variety of pitching styles, and gaining the experience that will eventually prepare him to handle the full grind of a major league season. Another encouraging sign has been his progress hitting from both sides of the plate. One of his home runs this spring came from the right side, an area where he has been working to become more consistent. Seeing that improvement during game situations is exactly what the Yankees want as they continue shaping him into a complete offensive threat. Dominguez is not the only young outfielder drawing attention. Spencer Jones has also been making plenty of noise with his powerful swing, reminding everyone of the raw strength that made him such an intriguing prospect in the first place. Although the organization decided he would begin the year back in the minor leagues, the message is clear that his development remains a major priority. Last season, he demonstrated just how much power he possesses, finishing the year with 35 home runs while continuing to refine other aspects of his offensive game. Performances like that make it impossible to ignore his potential impact in the future. Both Jones and Dominguez represent the kind of young, hungry talent that can eventually reshape the look of an entire lineup. Of course, their presence also creates an interesting dynamic for the current roster, especially when discussing the situation in center field. Trent Grisham has been the player holding that position, and while his spring numbers have not been particularly strong, the Yankees still know exactly what he is capable of when everything is clicking. Right now, his production during these early games has been limited, with a batting average sitting below 200 and a modest on-base plus slugging percentage. On the surface, those numbers might raise some questions, but the organization is not rushing to make any drastic judgments based solely on a handful of spring performances. Grisham already proved last season that he can deliver significant power when he is healthy and locked in at the plate. During the previous year, he launched 34 home runs and finished with an on-base plus slugging percentage comfortably above 800, numbers that reflect just how dangerous he can be offensively. When a player produces that kind of power over the course of a full season, it becomes clear that the ability is there. Injuries also played a role at times, including a lingering leg issue that may have affected his performance in certain stretches. If he enters the new season fully healthy, the expectation is that he can once again provide both power and solid defense in the outfield. That defensive side of his game is particularly important because center field demands speed, range, and consistent awareness, qualities that Grisham has displayed throughout most of his career. At the same time, the reality of professional baseball means competition never disappears. The Yankees understand that players like Dominguez and Jones are steadily developing behind the scenes, waiting for their opportunity to prove they belong at the highest level. If those younger players continue producing strong numbers in the minor leagues, it could eventually create difficult decisions for the coaching staff. Grisham is currently playing on a contract that lasts only one season, which gives the organization flexibility depending on how the year unfolds. If he replicates the power he showed previously, hitting somewhere around 28 to 30 home runs while contributing defensively, the Yankees will be more than satisfied with that production. But if things take a different direction, the team has talented alternatives preparing themselves for the moment when their chance arrives. But before we continue, please remember to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support allows us to keep bringing you the latest news about the New York Yankees. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments. Whispers have been circulating through the corridors of the Bronx, and the buzz grows louder with every passing hour. The most anticipated debut of the moment may be just around the corner, as outfielder Randall Grichuk is rumored to be on the verge of making his first appearance wearing the iconic pinstripes of the New York Yankees. Though nothing has been officially confirmed inside the clubhouse, speculation among fans and insiders is reaching a fever pitch. Grichuk, long known around the league for his power bat and aggressive approach in the outfield, could offer exactly the kind of spark the Yankees' faithful have been craving. If the rumors prove true, his debut could quickly become one of the most talked-about moments of the early season. Supporters in the Bronx are already imagining what the veteran slugger might bring to the lineup. Throughout his career, Grichuk has built a reputation as a hitter capable of changing the course of a game with a single swing. His ability to drive the ball deep into the stands has made him a familiar name among pitchers who know that one mistake over the plate can turn into instant trouble. But the intrigue goes beyond raw power. Observers close to the organization suggest that the Yankees see Grichuk as more than just a bat. His defensive range in the outfield and his experience across multiple major league environments could provide balance to a roster that values versatility. In a clubhouse filled with expectations and championship ambitions, that type of steady presence can sometimes prove just as valuable as home runs. Fans gathering outside Yankee Stadium are already debating where he might slot into the lineup and how quickly he could adapt to the pressure that comes with playing in New York. The city has a long memory and an even longer tradition of embracing players who rise to the moment. For now, the anticipation continues to build. Whether the rumors become reality soon or remain part of baseball's endless rumor mill, one thing is clear. The possibility of seeing Randall Grichuk step onto the field in Yankees colors has captured the imagination of the Bronx. And if the speculation proves accurate, his first appearance could mark the beginning of a storyline that many supporters will be watching closely. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the New York Yankees, please subscribe to our channel and give us a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.